So for everyone watching, this will be pretty quick. I think that's kind of the beauty of this integration, as Chris has alluded to, is making things more efficient for everyone, right? So we're trying to require as few touch points as possible. Yeah, and while kind of looping in this integration to fill those gaps, right? So people aren't having to click through so many screens and go through so many things manually. So first step really is obviously connecting to Cargo Chief. For us, it's just a profile level setting, just like it would be on the Cargo Chief side of things. So you just turn on a little toggle. Do we have Cargo Chief? Yes or no? And then when you're building your first load, after you've done that, it'll prompt you to put in your credentials. So very simple workflow there, not a long-term sort of process to get those two things rolling. It's just based on your Cargo Chief credentials. Now, once you have those in there and we've plugged in our credentials, now it's time to start using these integrations. So, as Chris alluded to, kind of the source of some of this information is going to be logistically, and that's going to be the load level details. So you can see here, I've built a shipment going from Green Bay, Wisconsin to Park City, Illinois. We've obviously I've kind of done that ahead of time to help reduce you guys watch me go through the screen here. But this is where Cargo Chief really comes into play, right? And I think I will allude to a couple of these other integrations we have in place on the Cargo Chief side of things as well. So you can see, right, there's that market rate sort of tool alongside your historic rates. I think this is actually a really vital part of the logistically integration with Cargo Chief as well. It's identifying when you need to go find, new carriers. Are there scenarios where I'm already covering a lane and I'm getting such great rates I shouldn't go source? And just sort of knowing when is the right time for some of that. Now, in addition to that, there is the capacity tool, right? So identifying carriers that are actually out there alongside your historic carriers. So there's that C4 product, right? Built right into the screen for you. So we can start to identify carriers that might be out there on this lane. But the bulk of this, obviously, digital freight match is driven by really not having a carrier, right? So I'll get through this screen, I'll build my shipments. And unfortunately, I won't be able to assign a carrier to the load because I don't quite have the coverage yet. So all a logistically user has to do is just save my order. When I go ahead and save my order, it's going to put us in a pending details status, and then the integration runs. And that's really the beauty of it. There's no buttons to click, no screens to go through. It's meant to really be efficient for you guys. So this DFM tool will go here behind the scenes, and to Chris's point, is going to go and sift through your network of carriers and help find you guys, valid coverage options that are hopefully a higher quality than you already have access to. And then, maybe you're filling lanes you might not have been filling before. But all I do is click yes, and the integration runs. It stops running as soon as we have a carrier on it. And you can see right here, here's the layout of our load. We have a little bids tab. No results quite yet because we haven't sent out the bids quite yet. I will show you an example of what that looks like, though, on the other side. So we'll have our bids tab for every order. Once you start getting responses back from carriers through Cargo Chief, you'll be able to see those right here. And you'll be able to see here from Cargo Chief right there in the upper right-hand corner of your little box. You'll see each carrier that has come back and the quote they've provided. So to Chris's point, I think this is, from a user perspective, everyone has a little bit of a different flavor here. Some people might like operating in the inbox for some of this stuff just because it's what you're doing right now, and that's totally okay. But the layout is here for you to ultimately accept the best bid, and even to counter bid. I think that's a mechanism a lot of people lean into in our system right now as well. If I click more on any one of these, let's use maybe a service, a quality of service sort of example. Maybe AAA Transport is one of my favorite carriers. Their service is awesome. The billing process is always seamless, but their rate isn't quite as good as what I got from Bushman Trucking up here for $9.85. So I could go ahead, click more on AAA Transport, send them a note, and even counterbid on that without having to leave the system. And again, the goal is just to have something that's integrated, one access point for the end user. Once I have the best rate, once I'm feeling comfortable, I just simply accept it. This goes ahead and automates notification for all the carriers that aren't selected, and notifies the carrier did select that they're going to be on this. So, confirmation email gets sent to the carrier from here. They get their email, they confirm it, you're good to go. So, but again, I think there's not a lot to show, and that's kind of what we want, right? I built a shipment. Let's let the integration do its work for us, and we'll reap the benefits later. So, like I said, pretty quick to kind of get through this, but That's really our goal here, is just as hands off as we possibly can be here, trying to create some efficiency.